Hi, and welcome to the Screensafe podcast. I'm Anna, and this is a podcast for anyone who cares about keeping children and teens safer online. We're going to talk about absolutely everything, so whatever age and stage your child is at, there'll be something here for you. Let's get going. Hello, welcome back to this week's episode. We are now in the middle of September, so well and truly back into the school routine now. I did have every intention of trying to get a podcast out every week over the summer holidays, and it just simply didn't happen. I'm not going to give any excuses apart from the fact that life happened. All my plans in the run up to the school holidays got skewed because I was really lucky to be invited into a primary school in Leeds and do some workshops with their year 6 pupils and parents before they leave on their journey into secondary school. And I was also doing some workshops with another parenting group. So my plan sort of went out the window, and all my plans to be organised into the summer holidays sort of fell by the wayside. And then I just wanted to enjoy some time and have some time out. It's been a crazy year, and have some time with my children. And here we are now, middle of September. So well and truly back into the swing of things now. And I just wanted to come on because this is a time of year that is quite a challenge for a lot of families and for a lot of children. Going back to school, for some of us, our children just skip back in. They're excited, they're ready, they're pumped, they just go without a second glance. And for other parents and children, it's a really tough time. All sorts of different emotions going on. Different feelings, friendship groups changing, meeting new friends, maybe moving schools, different expectations, different teachers. There's a whole melting pot of things going on. So just want to say that whatever age and year your child or children have gone into now, I really hope it's gone and is going as well as can be without too many bumps in the road. I know particularly if shout out to all parents there whose children have just left year 6, gone into started into secondary school. Sorry, that is a huge jump for all of you, for parents and children, but also just the sheer admin involved in your child transitioning to high school is a full-time job on its own. It's another level. I remember it myself, and it seemed to take me most of September to get on top. Well, it started in the summer holidays, but get on top of all the forms, the requirements, understand the uniform, the kit list, the things they need, the routines, and then get your head around their new systems that they're using. So it's full on. And as always, September is always a busy time for parents. I'm not entirely sure if there's a month where it's not a busy time for parents, but particularly September. And naturally, thinking about online safety, screen time, it can take a backseat. Again, it can be one of the first things to drop off a parent's bandwidth. I'm not going to say radar, because most of the time we're thinking about it and we know we need to be thinking about it or doing things, but we just don't have that bandwidth to keep on top of it or look into something new. But it is a time, September, where actually there can be a lot of new things coming into play, which, yes, some of them are very positive and exciting, but also it can increase the risks around our children being online. And it's a particular time where they're meeting new people. They may have been mixing with children that have now got phones that didn't have before, children that have had complete freedom and unrestricted access and spent more time online over the summer period. So they've found out about new sites or things that they want to share that you'd rather they didn't share with your child. Or your child yourself, has spent more time online over the summer, maybe than ideally you'd like, but needs must. You've still got to work through the summer. You've still got other things to function and other children to look after. And we know that in those situations, screen time does increase. So there's a whole mix of things going on, which can mean new influences and, unfortunately, new risks come into play at this time of year. So I just wanted to create this short episode today just to say that I am creating something specifically aimed at back to school time. And I wanted to give everyone a couple of weeks to just settle in and, as I say, go through the school and life admin that always comes hand in hand with the start of a new year. And I'm going to be releasing this at the end of the month, the last week. But I'm going to open up access to it later on this week, either today, tomorrow. So you can get an early bird offer, which is going to be a one-time offer that I'm going to do it at this price, which will be £27. And I'm going to do a 60 to 90 minute training / workshop / course, which however you want to view it, which will cover the key things to be aware of as a parent at this stage. So we all know that there's so much to think about with online safety, and each thing in its own right, you can go on and into a lot of detail. But what I want to make sure is that at this time, amongst all the other noise that's going on, you've got 5 key areas that you know you need to be looking at. And I want to give you those steps to be able to understand what the risks are and then take the appropriate action. Now, that's not me telling you what to do. That's me giving you the tools, saying, this is what you can do. This is what could happen if you don't do it. This is what is happening. This is how children are using this platform, for you to make the right decision based on your child, their age, their needs, and your boundaries as a family. So I'm going to make it as easy to either listen to as you're walking the dog, on the walk to drive to school, work, or you can watch it at your own time and go through it in sections. It'll be in 5 or 6 modules, so you can break that down and listen to one each day. You can binge it all at once, whatever works for you, because everybody's different. Personally, when I'm doing a lot of these things, I like to be able to listen to them when I'm doing something else, so either walking the dog, so I feel like I'm multitasking, and then if there's certain bits I want to go over again, I'll watch it when I've got a spare 15 minutes to myself, which is a rare thing, and be able to sort of take the notes or watch any of the slides that I particularly want to look at as a visual. So I'm going to give you all options so you can adapt it to whatever works for you. And I'm going to cover off 5 key areas. We're going to talk about screen time, which I know is a headache across the globe for all of us, including our own screen time. We're going to talk about cyberbullying. We're going to talk about social media with a particular focus on Snapchat and TikTok, because although, of course, there are so many more platforms, these two are certainly the biggest in this sort of age group that I'm going to be focusing on, particularly in that transition from primary to high school and those last years of primary. So the content that I'm going to be delivering is ideal if you have a child, I would say year 5 to year 8. And I say those years because what we find is in year 5 and year 6, they tend to either get their first phone or they're mixing with other children who have got their own phone. So that opens up a whole different experience. And then when we transition to secondary school, that's a whole different world. And they're meeting a lot of new people, a lot of people that you've never met. You don't know their family, you don't know their rules and boundaries that are in place. So they have that opportunity to be exposed to a lot of different content, connecting with a lot of different people. So alongside the screen time, the cyberbullying, we're also going to talk about how we interact and how children are meeting people online and making friends. That's an eye-opener. And we're going to, as I say, cover off Snapchat and TikTok. And then I'm going to talk about accessing harmful content, pornography, violent content, and data and privacy. So it sounds like a lot, and it is a lot. There's a lot of valuable content in there, but I'm going to keep it really concise. So each section will be 15, 20 minutes max. So as I say, you can really dig down into it as and when it suits you. And there might be one section particularly that you want to go over several times, and other bits that you don't feel are as relevant. If your child does not have social media yet, that might not be your priority. Although I would say they will be mixing with people who do have social media. So it's a really good opportunity to get ahead of the game and get up to speed. So when the inevitable question comes of, can I have Snapchat? Can I have TikTok? You know exactly what you're saying yes to or no. So I'm going to be promoting this over my socials, and I'm going to email it out to anyone on my email list as a first sort of priority to give this introductory price of £27, and it will be released the final week of September. Now, I think that is about the 25th of September that week, because I thought then we'll have 3 weeks in. Hopefully, we're sort of feeling like we've got our heads just above water again, and you'll have some bandwidth to be able to really listen to this and take it on board. Because what I want to make sure is that you can listen to it, but then most importantly, you can take action. You've got some clear steps and things to do immediately that will just make your child safer online. Can we stop them ever having a bad experience or seeing something that you don't want them to see? Of course not, but we can certainly put so many steps in place to prevent it happening and to minimize the risk happening and to educate ourselves so we understand what's going on. So that's very much going to be the idea behind this training. The novel section with this is I'm actually going to leave part of the course not created yet. So I've got the topics that we talked about there, and I know we're going to be covering them, but I'm actually also, it's not completely finished yet, because I want to leave it open for you as the early adopters of this course to have some input into what else you would like to hear about. Because I can talk about these things, which I know feature in every parent that I speak to, every teacher that I speak to. There are common themes around key issues that are a problem and a concern. But also there's other things out there. There's so much happening. So I want to give you the opportunity to feed back directly into me and say, I would love to know about this, or I would love a section on this. And if it's one that there's quite a common theme, I will add a full module in about it. If it's a more personalized situational thing, I will respond directly to you in a one-to-one feedback and give you support, tips, advice, information, whatever you need for that specific situation, privately, of course. But the idea is that from that feedback, I'll be able to pull in another module that we'll create before it launches at the end of September, that is something else that you all want to hear on top of the content already there. So I'm going to leave you with that for now. And as I say, details will be coming out. If you're on my email list, you'll be getting the link firsthand to be able to sign up and register your details. If you're not on my email list, just head over to my site, which is screen-safe.co.uk, and you can just sign up there straight away, and I'll make sure that this comes out to you directly. Or follow me on Instagram at ScreenSafe Global, or on Facebook, and drop me a message, and I will make sure that you get the link to this course as soon as it is ready. So best of luck with the rest of September. I'm really excited about just getting this out there to help as many parents as possible. There will be parents out there that fall either side of this category. Of course, everyone's got different situations going on, but I really wanted to focus on this sort of middle section between 5 and 8, because I find that this is the age where there is almost the most change going on in terms of online activity and access, and the biggest opportunity to really have an impact and shape the habits and the screen use as you want to do, before it gets out of control, or before we start having access to other things that we then decide we don't want them to. So I'd really appreciate if you could share this episode or my details with any other parent that you feel would like to take advantage of this training. It's going to be really interactive. It's going to be totally non-judgmental. It's a real eye-opener, informative and action-packed resource for any parent who wants to just get to grips at the start of the school year when you already feel like things are unraveling. Let's nip that in the bud and get some really good, clear things in place that will take you between now and Christmas, certainly. So thank you for your time. Thanks again for listening. And any questions, do get in touch. And I will be back next week with another episode. Bye for now. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd be really grateful if you would share it with anyone else who you think might find this podcast helpful. You can follow me on Instagram at ScreenSafeGlobal or sign up via my website screensafe.co.uk or via the link in Instagram to receive my weekly newsletter with more hints, tips and all-round support on everything to do with online safety.